high-value targets throughout the Middle East, including the oil and gas infrastructure. This in response to the major attack that took place yesterday.
World War III. My guy's been saying World War III for about 5 years.
As a result of that, and the streets literally running.
But he's going to be right someday. Even a broken clock is right a couple times a day.
I think they're going to use the same false pretense that they used to start the war to justify.
Man, I don't know if it's the weather, but my fucking knees are sore. I went for a walk, I almost died.
At a staggering 20% in just a matter of a couple hours.
Yeah, I saw that. 20%. Good thing we don't drive in Nate's. 20% in 2 hours on a Sunday night. That must be the Asian markets opening up.
Because this is not just going to potentially be a situation of gas prices are higher, it's going to be a rationing thing. I would implore you, after this video, to go and watch videos of the 1973, 74, and 1979 gasoline crisis.
Gee, I wonder when that what happened in 1978? There was a gas crisis in 1979. Could it have been the Ayatollah?
It's not a matter of
nobody knows.
It would be insane if it didn't, because we are talking about far more oil going offline than went offline during that time. 20%, 30%, in fact, compared to 6% at that time. Okay, so gasoline, ammunition, food, water.
Did you say gasoline?
All of these things are going to be going up in price if this persists long. We're seeing the stock markets in Asia crater. I mean, crater. They're already seeing gas shortages there. So what they're going to do this week in all of these countries, they're all going to open the spigots of their strategic oil reserves. They're going to try to meddle with the futures market. They're going to do all kinds of shenanigans to try to calm the markets. I don't think any of it's going to work, because we are still seeing hits on oil refineries in Bahrain today. We've seen another oil tanker get taken out off the coast.
I always like Canadian Prepper. Solid as fuck.
Abe Lincoln, I believe, is currently in the Arabian Sea.
Can't hate a prepper, man.
Off the coast of the Strait of Hormuz.
You know, if there's a fallout, I'd be fucking I'd be watching Prepper for the fucking news. He knows. He's got a bunker, I'm sure.
And try to allow safe patches of ships. But what it's likely going to be is the first step towards an embargo on Iran, which is an embargo on China. And I talked about this in my extensive breakdown yesterday on the Canadian Prepper channel.
Yeah, you did.
This is what they're going to do. They're going to try to create a blockade around Iran so they can't get any cargo in or out. And there's all kinds of rumors that they're going to send in spec ops to take over the nuclear facilities and try to take over one of Iran's foremost islands that is used for...
They could, inmates, they could, for sure.
It's a major facility. It's the size of the city, okay? They're going to try to take that or potentially just target it. If they target it, then
hi, my friend.
It's game over. It's lights out. You know, all bets are off at that point. So, okay, now...
My friends in Ontario have been sending me gas prices all weekend.
Because the market is finally starting to realize that
tripping out.
Shutdowns happening in the Middle East and with all the logistical backlog, that it's going to take a long time.
What are you guys up to tonight, my friends? You ready for World War III?
And declares victory, which he may. Okay, anything is possible, but remember, we declared mission accomplished in Iraq, and then it persisted for 5 years, and the thing didn't get out of control until long after Saddam died.
Right.
And long after we declared mission accomplished. In fact, I think it was 5 years after those events unfolded that the Iraqi war peaked in terms of U.S. fatalities.
We didn't go to Iraq. Only Americans did. You're a little off, Canadian Prepper. You're on the wrong side of the fence, buddy. I pay attention. I don't know about this guy.
Now, I think that under the pretense of...
You're not ready for World War III? That's okay. I am.
They're going to do a nuclear strike, particularly on some of these missile silos, because right now they're saying...
I've been living in wartime rations for a decade.
They already told us that they destroyed 4 now. The same guy who said he completely obliterated the nuclear program a year ago is now telling you that they've obliterated all of the missile cities and all of the nuclear facilities. Okay, so that there should be a telltale sign that they're full of shit.
Yep.
They can't do this. Some of these facilities are buried 500 meters deep.
Wow.
There is no way in hell that you are getting deep enough.
You're almost in China if you're 500 fucking meters deep. That's a fucking mountain underneath the ground.
One after the other down the shaft, it's not going to work. And if it does work, it's only
What are
going
you
to
guys
take
up
up
to?
one part of the facility that could extend for miles in many directions underneath. So they're lying. Because we are seeing the Iranians continue, and they're saying that they're ready to fight all the way to
I
the
saw oil
midterms
prices
at the current pace. And there's
go
a lot
from
of
$50
misinformation
barrel
right
to
now
$100
saying that the
today.
amount of drone strikes and the amount of missile strikes.
I should check my
dwindling.
crypto.
Well,
See what the
day
fuck's
one.
going on.
Bahrain yesterday, I think, was the subject of 17 missiles and over 100 drones. Just that one country. So somebody's lying. Now, I suspect that because the Iranian missiles...
Man, good to be prepared. A good fucking Boy Scout is always prepared, my friends.
They are putting missiles not in massive salvos, not in a saturation tactic. They're putting single or maybe 2 or 3 of these missiles, and they are getting through the Israeli defenses. Now, many are
saw that.
shut down, but a lot are getting
Man, the
through.
coolest thing I saw,
So if you're the Israelis right now,
the coolest thing I saw in this crazy war was in Tehran, all the fucking after they hit that, I guess it was a gasoline or a kerosene plant. It was in the middle of Tehran. All the fucking sewers along a whole street started exploding. It looked like fucking a Batman movie. Boom, 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 all the way down the street for like fucking 6 blocks.
Because it's unfalsifiable because the means in which they collect this information is classified.
I should find a clip.
I
should clip that shit. Well, we might have World War III, but we in Canada, war has never come here. not in 150 years. We haven't had a war since people are riding horses and shooting muskets. Swords were the fucking arms of the day the last time Canada had a war. So I feel sorry for the rest of the world. The whole Middle East, all of Europe. They are all fucked. India, China, fucked.
These specific isotopes back to either whether it was a nuclear weapon or whether it was the highly enriched uranium. Yeah, they could do that. They gave an evacuation order to Fordow for, I think, a city that was 30 kilometers away, which made no sense considering they're dropping bombs inside Tehran, which is a city of 10 million, and they haven't told that city to evacuate, to the best of my knowledge. And even if they had, they're still bombing it. So clearly it's not about that.
Prepper's got some intel.
That will be one of the targets.
There's a nuclear fucking
right
scare.
Now, the only thing that has a chance in hell of taking out these missile cities and these underground nuclear facilities that are buried in some cases 500 meters deep below a mountain, below limestone.
Every customer I used to have, I used to call them Johnny.
Weapon, and even that, it's not guaranteed. So we're
it was code for customer to sell drugs to.
B-61 gravity bombs, and now that they have, basically they have they're bringing these planes that can drop said munitions over without encountering any sort of air defense. There's a good chance that they could be dropping these B-61
no idea.
gravity bombs that can go up to 300 kilotons.
Idea. Is that him? Is that this guy? Canadian Prepper? I don't know his name.
Has been
is that his name?
In the Middle East, and this is a nuclear command and control plane. This too is, while not unprecedented, highly unusual, because this, of course, would be giving the green light to go in terms of nuclear weapons. Now, of course, this could set off a chain reaction.
Boom!
The Russians and the Chinese would potentially be on a much higher state
of fireworks.
DEFCON, or lower state of DEFCON, higher state of alert and readiness. And once you open Pandora's box, once you break the seal of normalizing the use of theater nuclear weapons, then of course the Russians have more justification to do it on their end. And so it becomes normalized, it becomes commonplace. And if they drop a nuclear weapon, I think we're going to see a
Here we go,
the likes
radioactive.
of which we haven't seen probably in a long time. Maybe since like the Cold War scares.
I got a screenshot that. That's good.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
I'll send it to
I don't even
Prepper.
think that would do it justice. There was panic buying. But I think this week we're going to see some stuff. I'm not saying the nuclear stuff is going to happen this week, but absolutely, Saudi Arabia is now in the crosshairs. For me, that's a telltale sign.
They were live in Manitoba.
Insider,
In the Cold War, they always said the missiles would come here first. We have all the nukes here in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Montana, Minnesota, North Dakota.
I've always thought it would be in Europe first, but it appears as though
the intercontinental missiles, the big ones, motherfuckers. Where do you think all the uranium comes from?
A lot of the mega loyalists who don't care about any of the Epstein stuff or any of the
I love the radioactive filter.
any of the
Definitely fitting for World War III. So we'll call this one World War III.
Regardless, and many of them will be gung-ho about it. Okay, so I would expect that if they got in a situation that they thought was
Israel.
intractable, they would.
Israel's too far away.
Use as justification.
We'll let the Middle East settle themselves out.
Strike on Iran's preemptive nuclear strike against us because of the failing.
We don't get involved in African wars.
Now, of course, that would.
We don't get involved in Asian wars. We don't get involved in Middle East wars. We in Canada, fuck.
It's very easy to.
Why do you think we came here? Why do you think we came here, my friends? Why do you think we came here? Get the fuck away from it.
And if the U.S. imposes a naval blockade on their cargo ships, then things are going to get a lot worse. However, while there still is a lot of resistance inside Iran, it does seem to be more galvanizing of the pro-IRGC supporters, at least as far as we can see. So
yeah, I saw him in Toronto.
Suspicion that a lot of these attacks are going to potentially backfire and unify the people in that country against the United States and the Israelis.
And the allies.
The proxy war is raging across the entire region. Hezbollah is firing a lot of missiles into Israel to try to exhaust and occupy and saturate the Iron Dome and some of the lesser systems that aren't used to target the incoming Iranian missiles and drones. We're seeing complete upheaval throughout Iraq. U.S. troops are getting in gunfights. I believe that Hezbollah took down a helicopter today, and all throughout that region, the embassies are on fire. I mean, there's blackouts, nationwide blackouts happening. Everything is just coming apart. And so it appears as though this is it. It appears we're here. I mean, I told you in my last video in Canadian Prepper that I thought that 150 was the base case. I don't even know if that's the base case at this point. Now, again,